Welcome on board your lastminute.com London Eye River Cruise. The boat you are travelling on today is the Silver Bonito, which is operated by Wood's Silver Fleet. There are toilets located downstairs, situated at the back of the boat, near to where you entered. For the comfort of all, we ask you to refrain from smoking or vaping on this cruise. Please switch your phones to silent and keep noise volume to a minimum. This is a safety announcement. This boat is licensed to carry 249 passengers. We maintain constant contact with Thames Navigation and the River Police at all times. This boat is equipped with a full complement room. There are doors at both sides of the vessel, or you can exit through the sliding windows. The upper deck is easily accessible by steps either side of the lobby. In the unlikely event of an emergency, the captain will give you full instructions. The captain is located at the back of the boat on the upper deck. In order to keep their view of the river clear, please remain seated throughout the journey. Good afternoon, wonderful people. Welcome aboard your London Eye River Cruise. Woohoo! Yes, recorded voice. I am here live in person. If you're sat upstairs, turn around, give me a wave. Welcome aboard. Hi. Just to very quickly repeat the most important part of that brilliant safety announcement. While you're on the upper deck, please do stay seated. We've got a wonderful Captain Dave that we'll have behind you steering the vessel. Captain Dave does need to see where he is going. If you're all stood up taking photos, you're going to block his view, and we don't want that. So please do stay seated while you're up here. However, you don't have to stay out here. You're more than welcome to head downstairs at any point during the journey. There are lots of nice, cool, comfy seats on the lower deck. Toilets are down at the back of the boat, and we've got our bar downstairs as well. Do feel free to go grab yourself some snacks, beverages, binoculars, guidebook, alcoholic drinks, all that fun stuff is downstairs. We've got one more very important rule for you all today, and that is you must wave to all the people on the bridges as we pass underneath every single one. It's the only time in London you can wave at a stranger and get a wave back, so do make the most of it. Hello!
Hello!
Just be very advised, if anyone does wave back to you today, they're definitely not from London. No, any smiling faces won't be local, alright? My name is Jordan. I'm going to be your tour guide for today. I'm also joined on board by my colleague Josh. If you've got any questions, need any help with anything, just come speak to either one of us and we'll do our best to help you out. Okay, let's get on with the tour. Let's start with this very grand building to our right. The New Palace of Westminster, more commonly known as our Houses of Parliament. It's the centre of UK government. In fact, you might be able to find a few of our politicians in there right now. Do feel free to give them a wave as we go past. Or any other hand gesture you need appropriate on to right. We call the building the New Palace of Westminster as there was an old palace. The old Palace of Westminster used to be home to the monarchy up until Henry VIII. He relocated during his reign and handed the old palace over to government. That established the very first medieval Houses of Parliament, and they were on this site up until 1834. When the Exchequer at the time thought it would be a good idea to burn 2 carts loads of wooden tally sticks under the floors of the building. He ended up causing a huge fire, burning it all down to the ground. During that fire, the citizens of London all gathered along the other side of the river, not to help, but instead to watch and chant, "Burn Parliament, burn." One man was even arrested for excessive cheering. I wonder if the same would happen today. Victoria Tower. That was originally designed to be the royal entrance into the building, but is now home to the parliamentary records and parliamentary archives. So that means we've got written records for almost every law from 1400 onwards kept inside that tower. It's also where we keep all our ballot papers after every general election. So that means if you're a British citizen who voted last month, your vote will now be stored inside. The pointed tower in the middle of the building is the central tower. That one was originally used as a ventilating chimney for all the fireplaces that originally, and it continues to allow a lot of hot air today. And finally, the clock tower at the other end, perhaps one of our most famous landmarks in London, so I'm sure you can all make a guess the name of that tower.
ये है जी लंदन पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग और क्लॉक टावर.
That is right. The tower is not called Big Ben. No, what a shock plot twist. No, the correct name of the tower is actually the Elizabeth Tower. The name Big Ben only refers to the 13-ton bell inside the Elizabeth Tower. Now, we think that name Big Ben comes from a man named Benjamin Hall. He was the chief commissioner of the works when the bell was installed. Apparently, Benjamin was a very loud, round-shaped man who wasn't very nice to his workers. They all decided to name their very loud and round-shaped bell after him. Let's just be grateful his name wasn't Richard. A lot of restoration work has recently gone on the Elizabeth Tower. We had a huge restoration project there. So as you can see, it's looking nice and shiny and new with its fresh little paint. It was a very long restoration project. It took over 5 years to complete. It was eventually completed in 2022. After the project, all the workers on it were very, very tired. But then again, they'd been working around the clock. The jokes are not going to get any better, by the way, just to warn you all now. So let's make sure to give another wave to the people on Westminster Bridge as we come back through. Westminster Bridge is actually the 4th most popular selfie spot in Europe. There's always lots of people out and about here taking selfies with the Elizabeth Tower in the background. So see if you can distract them from their photos. Hello! And now I'll take some time to talk to you about my employer. TheLastMinute.com London Eye. Standing at 135 metres high, this is the world's tallest cantilevered observation wheel. Cantilevered means it's supported on just one side, and this is an observation wheel as the pods are on the outside of it. This is not a Ferris wheel. My manager gets very upset when I use the F word. The Eye has 32 pods, one for each borough of Greater London. But don't be confused if you find yourself on pod 33. That's because we've removed pod 13 to reassure any superstitious guests. The Eye was designed by Mark Sparfield Architects, and the design was originally entered into a competition that was held to find a new landmark to celebrate the millennium. And the design for the London Eye came in 2nd place. However, British Airways liked the design so much that they offered to fund it themselves. It cost them about £75 million to build, but it made that profit back within the first 2 years. The parts to assemble the Eye came from 6 different countries across Europe. All the parts were shipped up the Thames, and the Eye was assembled flat on the river before being lifted into place by the world's tallest crane just in time for the millennium. The next bridge we are approaching is the Hungerford Bridge. This is a Victorian railway bridge that connects trains to Charing Cross train station over on the left. On either side of the railway you've got the Golden Jubilee footbridges. They were added in 2002, which was the year of our late Queen's Golden Jubilee, marking 50 years on the throne. Hello!
Hello, hello. Battle Bridge.
This area to our right is our South Bank. The South Bank Centre has its origins in the Festival of Britain of 1951, which was intended to be a tonic for the nation after World War II. The main building that stands from the festival is the Royal Festival Hall. Huge concert venue there, but lots of other arts venues were later added. You've got the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the Purcell Room, the Hayward Gallery, and underneath this complex we actually have the UK's very first skateboard park, the Undercroft, opened in the early 1970s and said to be the home of British skateboarding. The next bridge ahead of us is Waterloo Bridge, and Waterloo is the name of the Ladies' Bridge. It was built during World War II, while all the men were away fighting. The workforce that built this bridge was almost entirely female.
Yeah, और कौन bridge बनाई है? Waterloo Bridge.
And only bridge in London to be built on time and under budget. I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions there.
Very good.
This building to our right with the electronic screen above it is our Royal National Theatre. Like many buildings on the South Bank, it was built in the brutalist style of architecture. King Charles once described that building as looking like a nuclear power station. I don't think he's a massive fan of brutalism. I must admit I am rather fond of it, despite its arguably rather ugly exterior. Inside it you will find 3 beautiful theatres, and you can see loads of award-winning shows there, often before they get a West End transfer and at a much cheaper price. So it's always a great bargain for any fans of theatre. A little further ahead you'll see a red brick building which, as you might be able to guess, was once owned by the company OXO. The company that makes stock cubes that are still very popular in Britain today. If you look at the tower atop the building, you might think it spells out the company's name, OXO. However, I have to tell you that is technically not true. In the 1930s, when that tower was built, skyline advertising was illegal, and OXO were taken to court for building the tower. Fortunately for them, they had a rather clever lawyer who made the argument that they had ordered a random set of geometrically shaped windows. One circle, one cross. He definitely had stock in the company. Now, over on the left, you'll now get your first great view of St Paul's Cathedral, one of the largest domed cathedrals in the world. It's actually the 5th iteration of St Paul's. The previous version, at its time of construction, was the tallest building in the world, but that one burnt down during the Great Fire of London in 1666. The one you see now was designed by one of Britain's most acclaimed architects, Sir Christopher Wren, and it was completed in 1710.